I- there's a lot of stuff in there that I would have liked to say. Like I said, I didn't want to go on like a rambling
So
kind of
make it
thing.
not a ramble. Let's think about it. It's not a ramble. When I say this document and I included everything in it, it took me 13 minutes. I showed it to Iacona. I got him to trade me he did my floor in my father's apartment in my basement, and I trained him for free. He didn't come 28 engine, and he put a nice floor in my basement, and I believe he retired a cat. So we both made out on the deal. I did the same thing with Danny Schneider. I said, "Hey, Danny, I need a floor for my dogs in the basement. I'm building a kennel in the basement. You do the floor. I'll teach you how to be a chief with me." He goes, "I'm not even taking the chief's test." I said, "You're not taking the chief's test. You better take the chief's test." So I talked him into taking the chief's test. He finished in front of me. He made the first list. He came out 7 with the answer I wrote for him. So we're going to do good. We just got to. So what you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to write this out in your words, but you're going to pick out the things in the template because they're in order that you're going to introduce into your answer. Go back and look at your answer, compare it to the template, rewrite it. Don't miss anything in the template without rambling, and then we'll do it again. Next. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. We'll go check it against the answer that we have that they're looking for, which is out of a chapter, out of a book. But they only give you the bullets, and they tell you in the notes that you'll get points for general information, but the more you can go into detail about each thing that you deliver, that's where you score even more points. So you get points for general, and you get points for being able to give them a little bit about each one.
Okay. You want me to just dive right into it? Page.
Yeah, which one I guess. What's the scenario?
Scenario is it's Friday afternoon in September at 1:30 p.m. The temperature is 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind is blowing from the east to west at 5 miles per hour. You have been dispatched to report a smoke and flame at 16 Sullivan Street. You are the officer of the first arriving truck company. 16 Sullivan is an occupied 6-story ordinary construction building that was built in the early 1900s. It's measured 80 feet by 60 feet. The first floor houses commercial occupancies and has 20-foot high ceilings. The second, third, fourth, and fifth and sixth floors all have identical floor layouts and are largely comprised of large area luxury apartments. Both interior stairways lead to the roof via bulkhead door. There are also no auxiliary appliances.
Oh, this is the reason why I don't have it is no, we don't have an answer on this one. This is out of the booklet.
It's off the iPrep Pro links that had the second level supervisor study guide. That's where I got it from.
Yeah, I'm looking at my old the latter scenarios. I'm going to go to the website. Let me do this the way I want to always do it, which is screen share. Great.
Yeah,
all right.
that's the one I got.
So there's a couple things on here real quick before we go in, right? It's the time of day, 5-mile-an-hour winds. That's not any was an extra alarm. You're looking for the extra alarm stuff. Also, you have 2 bulkhead doors. You know you got to sweep them for victims. Anybody that's escaping, they're going to go up. So you just make a quick note of them as you're going through it. All right. So, all right, give me what you got. All right.
Alrighty. Upon receiving alarm to 16 Sullivan Street, my rolling size up begins with pre-fire planning reference from our CAD system and department SGOs. While en route, I will inform attached companies of traffic hazards while responding, and when entering the block, I will report visible conditions. Upon arriving on scene, I will immediately establish command and call for a third alarm. Upon seeing a large 6 ordinary construction of mixed occupancy with possible exposure problems on the Charlie and Delta side, smoke and fire showing from the Alpha side of the building, and I'll report visible fire on the 4th floor. I will call for a safety officer, accountability officer, water supply officer, police units for traffic control, establish a fast team, hazmat team, call for public service and utilities, ALS and BLS for possible victims, and I'll have an arson unit on scene. I will report knowledge of possible toxic fumes located on the 4th floor on the Charlie side bedroom, and that no members are to enter or remain in the building without an SCBA donned and in operation. Members will begin an aggressive interior attack after donning all PPE outdoors. Arriving first due ladder will be positioned on the Alpha Bravo corner, leaving room for engines to position on the Alpha and Bravo side, while simultaneously being positioned to protect the Charlie and Delta exposures. Our goal will be locate, confine, and extinguish the 4th floor fire before it has time to extend to the Charlie side bedroom, or via pipe chases to the floors above, as well as the cockloft. First due truck members will shoot the aerial to the roof for a second means of egress. However, the whole truck will enter via the Alpha stairwell and use the attack stairwell to reach the 4th floor. The search team will enter the 4th floor apartment and begin their primary search for victims as close to the seat of fire as possible, along with an attack line. The roof team will continue up the stairwell to reach the bulkhead door. They'll pop it while searching for victims on the way. They will get in position to vertically vent if called for by the incident commander. They will also report conditions of the building on the Charlie side. Engine companies will bring in water from both hydrants across the street. The first due engine will stretch an 1.75 inch attack line up the stairwell on the Alpha side. They'll reach the seat of the fire and begin their attack. Additional arriving engine units will assist in protecting Alpha side stairwell, stretching to the floor above the fire, and having master streams in place to protect the exposures, as well as the commercial 1st floor. Additional truck companies will assist with search efforts, primary and secondary, on the fire floor and the floor above. They will horizontally ventilate as needed when water is flowing onto the fire. Additionally, one truck company will stage at the command post as the fast team in case of a mayday. After the fire has been extinguished, the IC will call for an accountability report and begin overhaul and salvage operations. When the incident comes to a close, additionally, he will begin to conduct a post-incident evaluation to determine if strategies and tactics used at this incident were correct and effective uses of department and city resources, if all essential personnel were called to the scene, and what can be learned both by the IC and all of the members of the department. That's what I got.
I'm going to go back and look at it with the template. But for me, this is the established command question. What are your specific orders and actions? Means you're the incident commander. They're telling you here in the answer that the incident commander is not coming, so you're the incident commander. So immediately, I give them this an established command question, and I have 4 steps to establish command. 1, rolling size up. 2, establish command. 3, give an incident action plan. And 4, communicate that strategist, test, and tactics to the units and resources I bring to the scene. This incident is definitely a 3rd alarm fire. All right. I didn't hear you say 2nd alarm. I'm going to order a 2nd.
I said 3rd alarm.
Yeah. But did you say 2nd?
Do you have to call for a 2nd to make it a 3rd?
I would identify it so that they write it down.
Okay. I'll note that then.
Order a 2nd and a 3rd alarm because we have a manpower problem here.
Okay. All right. Let me put that in.
You got to remember, you're putting truck companies to work. You said search team and roof team. I don't know if you said first due ladder, second due ladder.
I specified the first due ladder for the additional truck companies. I just said one will be assisting at search, and then the 3rd truck to come would be the RIT team.
Because when you identify the alarms, 3 alarms is going to be 6 engines and
3 ladders.
Right. Plus any resource that you can think to deliver. But you bring in your resources as you need them, right? And just make sure that you don't miss any. I wasn't writing your resources down. When I go back and look again, I'll look for your resources and see what.
I can read them out to you now if you want.
No, because I want to go back because I'm gonna compare it to the template that I have, the one that I already have in place. The way I have my template in my head is I know exactly what I need to say. All the information that I'm trying to convey is in my head, but now it's time for me to organize it so that I can explain it to you, but also in a way that there's a guy there sitting with everything that you need to say, but it's not in the order that you're saying it. It's in the order that he's got to find it as you're saying it,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't have the sheet. He's just got the bulleted sheet. Then there's another guy making sure that you're saying everything that you're supposed to be saying, but it's right. You can't be um, saying different things that you're not supposed to be doing. And if you say something that you're not supposed to be doing, going to get you into trouble, that subject matter expert, he's going to know.
So I have a question for you.
They're not just asking you to save these rescues, but they're asking you the way you're going to do it, right? And how you're going to safely take those rescues out of the building. If you just say that you're going to rescue them, but you don't tell them how, they're not going to give you the point for the how. The way I figured all this stuff out when I was going through it is you go down and you look at your answers and they tell you what you missed, right? So when I got my safe search and rescue question, which this isn't the safe search and rescue question, this is the established command question. But when I got the safe search and rescue question, I told them that I was going to do a rescue. I was going to perform a rescue, and I told them who was going to do it. I said, "There's 2 victims. I'm going to send in the rescue team. I'm going to have the 2 firefighters do 2-man carry, and I was going to have the 2 additional firefighters from the truck team bring the kids out, cradles and arm carry." So when I went back and looked to see what they said about my answer, they gave me perfect score for my delivery. Right? They said, because I gave them the 23 safe search and rescue techniques, right? And I gave them, and I did really good. I felt really confident. But then when I went back and looked at my answer, they gave me a 3 on the subject matter. They said that I didn't force entry, I just entered. And they said that I didn't specify that I was going to take the children out first. I didn't go deep enough into how I was going to rescue them. So you can be confident and score points with your looking good and saying the right things, but if you miss something, they're taking it away. So it's a delicate blend when you're telling your assessors how you're going to rescue them, your ladder company operations. You got to lover's view them because it's in the book. You got a ladder, overhaul, search, all those things. And let's go to the 10th.
Quick question for you.
Get that.
So when I'm calling for a second and third alarm, right? I'm a captain on scene. Obviously, I'm the IC. But when you call for those additional alarms, do they not send chiefs, whether it's from your department or if you're calling for mutual
Doesn't
aid?
matter if it's in the chief's. In the answer it says the chief is delayed. He's not going to be there for 15 minutes. So what this question is designed to ask you is, tell me what you know about the incident management system. That's all it is. And if the question says that you're the incident manager, you've got to tell them how you're going to do it as organized as possible. That's why I wrote the established command template, because it organizes my thoughts in a way that I can always know that in step 1 is where I'm going to hit them with the pre-fire plans, post-incident evaluation, anything else that I got to bring to that scene. But then once
the only reason why I ask is because that changes what I can do as a first due truck. Because if you're 1 captain and 3 firemen, according to these questions, you can't split up a roof team and a search team as a first due truck then, because you can't have 2 man, 2 in, 2 out. So,
right. But the thing is, don't think too much into it like that. I know that because what's going to happen is you're going to take yourself out of the incident commander role and you're going to put yourself into the truck company role. Right now, you're the incident commander. So you're bringing your resources. Yeah, you're part of that truck company. But right now, the reason why they told you're the first 2 truck company captains is they want to see if you still know that you're the incident commander, because you are. And you're not passing it. And this doesn't allow you to say, okay, the first engine company came, so I'm going to pass command and I'm going to go. So it's actually there to confuse you a little bit, to kind of get you off your game, but you just gotta tell them what you know about the incident management system. You're not really doing these things, right? You're in a test scenario, so we know that you're going to be working while you're doing it, and mitigating the problems. But the thing is, you could think actually faster than you can do these things, right? So you say one thing, you want to get to the next thing. We got a little bit more time to do what we're doing on the fire ground, but this isn't the fire ground. This is just talking to them through how we're going to keep everybody safe on this fire ground. And here's the problem. Now, what are you going to do with this problem? Right? So no matter what you're going to do with the problem, every single problem starts with organizing your fire ground to keep your members safe. First new engine company, first new truck, first officer on the scene, third incident command. They're the one that has to make sure that everything starts rolling in. So it is done as the resources arrive. But you're responsible for the resources and knowing which ones that you need. So you prioritize your resources. You call for a water supply manager, whose job is it to make sure that no traffic runs over those fire hydrants that are across the street.
I mean, I called for a
manager,
PD.
police for crowded traffic control, but also identify that we have fire hoses going across the street that we can't have people running over our hoses while we're fighting the fire. Can't run out of fire, right? So that is an issue. I've seen the fire. I says, are there any fire hydrants on the right side of the street? No. So we're going to have to block that street off as well. So you're going to be responsible for that, even as the truck captain, because you're not the truck captain once they tell you that you're establishing.
So it's better to specify where you want the street closures.
Right? You have to know what they do. Right? So I'm going to order a second alarm because there's not enough to do anything on the fire ground with one alarm. Because they're only giving you 2 engines in a truck and a chief and an ambulance. Right? But you have to know that we don't have a tower ladder with an articulating boom to drop onto a roof to get over wires. We have one of those in the fire ground, even though Newark doesn't have one. The incident management system and how they explain it to you in the books has one. So you bring in the articulating bolt. It's just showing them that you're in the books, you know what you need to do, what order they're being done in. The reason why I take my established command question and I break it down into the 4 steps of initializing command is because in step 1, I could do everything that I need to do without thinking about I'm the truck company. But then once I get on the scene, I got to get rid of truck company and start with I'm the incident commander. So what am I bringing to the scene? Second, third alarm, all my resources. That's all in step 2. That's where you got to tell them what kind of building construction type is and everything that you're about to do. Now, when we get to step 3, that's when we're going to create our incident action plan. That's when we start telling everybody what they're going to do. Right. So you do it in as organized fashion as possible because we're going to coordinate between the engine company and the truck company's rescue and fire time. How we're going to do that? We're going to the fire's on the 4th floor, 5th floor. If it's on the 5th floor, you're going to go to the floor below and you're going to go do a quick walkthrough, check for fire extension and the layout of the floor, so that you have an idea where you are on the top floor because they gave you that. Each floor above the first floor is identical.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
They give you something, you give them something back.
Okay.
All right. Everything in there has something to come back. But first, step 1, establish command. Rolling size up, pre-fire plans, post-incident evaluation, target hazard reports, any information, prompting for past information from last time we were here. Anything that can help us is going to help us there. Once we get there, establish commands, Sullivan Street Command, A side of the building. You tell them what every single company that you brought to the scene is going to do. And now when you tell them what they're doing, you got to make sure that you have your attack line, your exposure line, tell them which companies are doing all those things. If you have 3 ladders, you tell them my first ladder company, boom, my second ladder company, boom, third ladder company, whatever they're going to do. But make sure you identify each ladder company, not just the task.
Okay. And that will be the same for all 6 engines then?
Yeah. What I would do is, did you go through the template that I gave you, the established command template at all before you wrote your answer?
I did, yeah. So I made my own outline based off of yours, and so that's what I used.
Just go down in order. Like step 1, write everything that you would bring in your step 1. But go pick. You don't have to say everything that I said there, but just go pick the things that you feel comfortable saying, and then you fill in those.
That was the only thing I was unsure of because I didn't want to spend too much time like and go on a rant about all 6 engines. I didn't know if that was going to be too much or not. So that's why I generalized
Well,
after the first 2 companies.
I left you a blank space after each one of those. So in the blank space of the, let me put, and I'm going to do it through the website so that whoever comes in and goes to the website, they can find it the same way that we're finding it. Oh, sure. April. So in the blog section, does that pop off or I'm still on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That,
Blog section, I have rolling size. No matter what I'm telling them, I'm giving these 4 steps. Say it. It's that it takes 2 seconds. I'm going to be establishing command using the incident management system. And in the incident management system, I'm going to give them a rolling size up. All right. And to give them the size up, these are the things that I have to say. All right. Standard operating guidelines, computer-aided dispatch, fire plans, however you feel your one-liner that's going to introduce all of these resources. You're going to tell them that you know what's going on before you. And then I'm going to give them a brief initial report. This is a windshield report. You're going to give them that report, and you're going to tell them what you have, the occupancy, the size of it, the construction type, the conditions found. You gave them your situational status report. I like to tell them that what it is, right? Because then they know that this is the situational status report. It's evolving conditions. You're going to do it according to Cole's Wealth. And then you're telling them who you are, and you're going to pick an attack mode. Is this an offensive attack, a defensive attack, or is it transitional? Is this a command mode? Is this a command attack mode or a combination of both? Right. This is a marginal situation. So this is what gives you the ability to go in that building because you're doing a risk versus gains assessment and there's a rescue problem. You have to go in. Right. So this isn't something that they're trying to make you identify that it's a situation that you shouldn't be in. They do that with the evolving incident is they put you in there. And then after they put you in there, if you think you're not supposed to be in there, you were supposed to be in there, but then they're going to give you a situation that happens where you have to get out because they want to see if you know how to park.
okay.
So that's all understanding the question that they're asking. As soon as you identify this as the incident commander question, it's all for it. It's nuts to bolts. It's telling them everything you know about the incident management system, as much as you could fit in 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So did we miss any of our resources? Right. Because here's the resources here. Plus there's probably a couple missing that we could throw in here. We needed in your resources, if you didn't say
Staging
accountability
officer, I
officer,
didn't say.
staging officer, safety officer, operations officer, initial RIT team, and the RIT team, police for crowd traffic control, EMS for triage treatments, transport victims tracking coordinator. The police is also for crowd and traffic. So are they going to control the traffic? Yes, that's how you're going to keep them off the lines, right? They're going to shut down the street. Water supply manager, you had that. At the very end, you bring in the fire marshal, hazmat for the film laboratory. You make sure you tell them that, hey, there was a gentleman out here that told me that there's a film laboratory on the 4th floor. You tell them we're going to have to get a line between the film and the film laboratory and the fire. But now they told you there's a partial collapse in the next question and affects the floor below. And you see it's in the same vicinity of that film lab. All that's when you're going to have to tell them about the toxic gases and all this other stuff that could be a problem inside that film lab. So the incident action plan, how much of that did you hit in this incident action plan that the incident commander brings to the scene? That includes a plan A and a plan B. It's a risk versus gains assessment. I'm going to have to make sure that there's viable victims in there before I go in and perform the rescue. All right. My incident priorities at this fire are life safety of the firefighters, occupants. You tell them that, like, about incident priorities. That's your lips. When I put in these with capital letters, all those capital letters mean something. That's a definition that you have to know and belongs in this scenario. All right. So we got.
So when I
Incident
was
priority. Go ahead.
going through the outline, I mean, you tell me what's better, because what I was trying to do, instead of saying like the definition words, I was trying to say them without actually saying conservation, for example. Instead of saying that, I'd just say we'll begin salvage operations and try to protect whatever property we can. Do I have to say?
You
Because I didn't want to. I remember you telling me a while back that they didn't want to just hear like uh a bunch of bullet points without you going into detail about them. So I don't know. Is it better to say we're gonna go into
I'm setting my answer up
conservation
like they said.
operations?
If you look at a book, there's a table of contents, and then it gives you the subheadings in the table of contents. But then when you start reading through the book, it gives you a heading, and then it gives you a paragraph or two of what each one is. So it's up to you to figure out which things that you're going to bring in to explain to them how you're going to use it. So the document that we're using does all that for us. So when I realized that that's what it did, I wrote the whole story out so that you can go in there and pick the things out that you have to put into your answer, but still make it your answer. So no matter what, for years, when I was explaining life safety, incident stabilization, property conservation, and continuity of community, I wouldn't know that was the incident priorities. I wouldn't say, hey, that's incident priorities. I would just say that without being able to define what it was. Now I could do both because I've read this document so many times that I don't know what they're going to hear what you said and what they didn't hear, even though you said it. That's why they have the review process, because they might have missed something. So you're supposed to go down there, review, and say, hey, I just said that. I said it right there. Okay, here it is. I said it. And then you go write an appeal. And then they'll review it and they'll see that you said it or you didn't say it. And if they think you said it, you'll get a point. And then you'll jump. I had a guy in my firehouse came out 54. Another guy came out 19. Anthony Vanarella came out 54, and Greg Sirico came out 19, 18, 17. I forget what it was. Wrote an appeal. One of the firefighters helped him. One of the captains helped him. Wrote the appeal. He got the point back. And before the first list came out, Vanarella jumped from 54 to 14. And instead of being on the second list, it was on the first list. And the guy that was 19 didn't get made for a year after Vanarella got. So the reason why I want to go back and look at what you said and compare it to this document is because when you were saying it, I heard a lot of good things, but I don't know if you hit everything because I'm not in the
Yeah, definitely not.
right.
I don't know that I hit
So
everything
I'm
either.
going to pick apart your answer. I'm going to, after we hang up, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to see what you said, what you didn't say, and we're going to pick this answer apart. And then we're going to come up with the perfect answers. So, because odds are it's going to be something like this. Because when they give you a study guide scenario, the one that you get down there on game day is almost like that. So we're not done with this answer. We're just starting with this answer. Like I told you, we're going to pick this study guide apart so that we know it like the back of our hand. This is the beginning. So if you continue to go through this document, when we start talking about the incident action plan, right? We definitely have to say risk versus gains. We definitely have to tell incident priorities. And then we're always going to rec OVS it. Because this, you have to. And when you say that you're going to vent enter search, you got to say force vent enter search. Because I said vent enter search. And he said you didn't force enter. So it's
Gotcha.
a point for that. Okay. And I know it's force entry, but I was so into my routine that I forgot to say force entry. But in the very top of my answer, when I was writing my notes out, I put in highlights, and I was so mad at myself. I put in highlights, forcible egress and entry tools. I circled it and highlighted it. So when I looked at the answer and it said, I didn't say forcible entry, I seen this big circle on my notes. It said forcible entry. I was gonna appeal it, try to get the point back but I didn't because I knew I was gonna get made. So, but that's the kind of stuff that they're looking for. That you
Yeah.
and you're not going to get a perfect score. I don't want to say you're not going to get a perfect score, but this test is designed to make you forget things, to confuse.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute! I'm the truck captain. I'm supposed to be doing 2 and 2 out. It's there to make you doubt what you're supposed to say. But if you're the truck company that's reporting to the chief to get your orders, then you're 2 and 2 out, whatever. But if you're the incident commander, you're the incident commander. Don't let it get in your way of establishing command, calling your resources and telling them everything that the people that you brought to the scene are gonna do. That's your job. I'm the incident commander. I got not only know how to bring them to the scene, but let me explain a little bit about what each one of these guys do, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to say, okay, this is I'm obviously the incident commander. I have to establish command. How do I establish command? I have a 4-step process so that I don't forget anything. You can say those things because you're explaining it to somebody that you want to understand what you're saying. So pretend that the person that you're talking to knows less than you instead of more than. That's how I always got in trouble is if I talked to Riker, I noticed that I was always nervous to say something because I was afraid it was going to be wrong, so I wouldn't say it. Yet when I was talking to somebody that I'm supposed to know more about, I was able to go on and on and on, and because I knew that I had to explain it to them in detail so that they would get it. So our thing is fit as much as we possibly can in an organized fashion so that we don't miss anything. But some guys are so good at it, they recognize the question, they can explain it without doing that. Even though I know what I'm doing, I still do that kind of stuff because my brain is moving so fast, I stutter. So I'm trying to figure out how to slow myself down and stop saying I'm gonna.
Yeah.
We have to turn the gunners into wills, right? We have to. So when we're watching ourselves say the answers, we're going to screw up. We're going to screw up and we're going to have to fix it. So the more we screw up and we hear ourselves saying gonna, I got a point taken away from me for being unsure. I got a 5 on the answer. I hit every single point, but they took a point away from me in the delivery because there was a certain point that I looked nervous. And I know when it was when I didn't know if I was supposed to go make the rescue or not. It was the rescue question, right? And what I said about the rescue question, the problem is when there's a whole bunch of guys that are taking the test and they're not in the books. When they get out of the test, the one guy's going, I fought it defensively. Oh, no, I fought it offensively. And I heard both people saying, and I didn't fight either. I went in there and I said, I have to do a risk versus gains assessment. I said,
Yeah.
I can't assume there's nobody in that building, so I'm going to have to at least check, you know? So I was identified, didn't know the word to explain it at the time, but it's a marginal situation where it gives you the opportunity to go in and make the save. Because your risk versus gains is there's a life at stake, so I have to make sure that I can save that life while keeping my firefighters safe. So I think you did a good job first time. Like I said, lean on the template a little bit until you can understand that did we rescue all occupants? How did we do it? Did we protect the exposures? How did we do it? Did we confirm and confine the fire? Did we extinguish all fires? We overhaul, we vent, enter, search, salvage. So we got to make sure we have everybody and how they did all those things. If you miss one of those, there's a point taken away. Then in step 4, that's when you tell them how and who's doing it. So the first 2 engine companies secures a water supply, performs offensive, aggressive interior attack. How? You just tell them what the scenario tells them, tell the back. You're going to locate and extinguish the fire. Combine, locate, and extinguish. First 2 truck company performs primary search and rescue of the fire area, 2nd floor, forcible entry, raise the ladder to Division B, 2nd floor office. Oh, this is horizontal ventilation. second due engine, backup, assist first engine, truck company, and rescue operations. Second due truck, third horizontal and vertical ventilation. Third due, fourth due, and there's even, I don't know, we didn't bring another, if you bring more resources, you have to tell them what they don't. So if you add a third alarm, you're going to have 2 more engine companies in the truck that you're going to have to tell what to do. So that's that's all 4 steps, and that covers the whole established command question, nuts to bolts.
I think, all right, sounds good.
I'm going to do homework on you this time. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to see what you said. I'm going to see what's on the template that you said, what I would change if I could. I'm going to go in there and critique like I'm supposed to.
All right, well, in that case, I'll rework my answer and get more specific.
I will make a video and I'm going to put it on the website. And as soon as I'm done with it, I'm going to send it to you so that you could watch it next time you're at work. It'll be all done. And click somebody through the website and teach them how to write an answer. Explain it to them. That never did it before. Don't do it with your captain. Do it with a red ass that you definitely know more than, and teach him the system that I'm teaching you. Because if you could teach what I'm teaching you, then you're right. All right. So, and you're getting there. No, we can keep going. We can keep going. We'll just do the scenario one more time next time. The perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll rework it a little bit then. That way you can tell me how much I improved at least.
Well, like I said, I listened to what you said. I heard a lot of good things in there. I don't want to say you didn't say anything because you might have. So that's why I want to go back in and look and kind of grade it so that I know where we're going to go next. I get a lot of information from what you're doing. It kind of get an idea of where you need to go after each one. So let me stop. Man, time flies when I talk to you. It feels like 5 minutes, and it's.
It's a good thing, though, right? Shit.